Hi and welcome to this video. Today I want to talk to you about your instinct and your intuition. Two different but interconnected guidance systems that we can rely on and that we all have within us. I want to tell you how listening to these guidance systems are important to living your life on your terms. And I want to show you that although intuition is often overlooked, it holds the key to creating a future that you desire. Our instinct is at our very core. It's a fundamental human nature response to the environment that we live in. Our survival instinct is the most obvious instinct we have, where we have an innate desire to avoid danger, find food and find shelter. It's an unchangeable call to action that every human being has within their DNA. Our intuition is also a human nature response, but this is something unique to the human mind. Our intuition is an access point to our unconscious mind, or what I like to call a deep knowing. When you deeply know something but can't quite explain why, this is your intuition speaking. Listening to this guidance system helps us to reconnect to our needs and desires. It's like an inner compass, leading us gently to the most beneficial outcome for us as individuals. You know you are being guided by your instinct when you have a gut feeling about something. Your brain, usually in response to the fight, flight, freeze response, sends a message to your stomach that tells you that you are uncomfortable with your situation. You might feel slight twinges in your belly, nervousness, or even sickness. This is your guidance system telling you to pay attention, and if you do not act now, you will be putting yourself in a bad situation. When we don't listen to our gut or are unable to, we can create traumas in our lives. The animals of our planet live by their instincts and shake off trauma with ease. Us humans, however, lock traumas in our bodies, which often cause illnesses and dis-ease. You know you are being guided by your intuition when you receive a thought with a suggestion to guide you in a positive way. You might sense in a moment that you need to be making a decision that will positively affect your life. Your intuition guides you by offering thoughts that are most beneficial to you. Listening to your intuition requires a little more discernment than listening to your instinct. Your instinct will always let you know quite immediately in your body when you need to act, but your intuition is offering thoughts to you that you might ignore. One reason you might ignore it is because intuition is often very subtle. Intuition may be hard to scientifically measure, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist or that it's not important. We all know that feeling when we didn't trust or act upon our intuition and how situation played out worse because of it. Another reason you might ignore your intuition is because you were taught to listen to authority figures in church or in school or at home, and over time you just simply learn to ignore it. And yet another reason why you might ignore your intuition is because you listen to your negative self-talk instead. And negative self-talk can become so loud that it literally drowns out any positive thoughts being offered. Often we get instincts and intuition mixed up because many people think they are the same thing. But what I'd like to point out in this video is that when we connect to our intuition more often, it guides us in a more powerful way beyond our instincts. It gives us meaning to our lives, guides us to our purpose, and ultimately knows what's best for us in all situations. When we listen to our intuition and then act upon our guidance, we create a future we desire and can have maximum fulfillment in our everyday lives. And what could be better than that? Let me give you an example in my own life to illustrate. Well over a decade ago, before I set up my business Artist Resource, I was doing various jobs that were related to art in some way. I remember seeing a job listing about promoting artists through a gallery. I didn't really want a full-time job because I had a seed of an idea about how I could make a business. But something told me, my intuition, to go for the interview, and so I did. The lady who owned the company interviewed me and I had a really great interview, or so I thought. At the end she said to me, "Leona, you are fully capable of doing this job. However, I can tell you that you actually don't want it. You don't want to be working a 9 to 5 for me or anybody. What you need is a mentor to help you start your business." And a week after that, I was sitting in her office with paper and pens, brainstorming how I could get my business off the ground. If I hadn't listened to my intuition and gone for that interview, I wouldn't have received some major advice on how to create artist resource. And for me, what I do with the majority of my time through my business has given me so much fulfillment over the years. So if you are interested in creating a more fulfilling life, as well as a future that you truly desire, then listening to your intuition will always get you there. Can you think of an instant that you listened to your intuition in the past? And can you think of a time where you didn't? Write them down if you need to. I'd like to bet that the time that you listened to your intuition resulted in a more favourable outcome, didn't it? If you can't remember the last time your intuition guided you in a powerful way, I recommend that you train yourself to become aware of it. It's fundamental to find a way to get rid of your negative self-talk, or just to quiet down the endless mind chatter that we all have. A recent scientific study says that your mind thinks around 6,000 thoughts a day. That is a lot of information to process. If we have trained our thoughts with lots of negative self-talk, then we are going to give ourselves a really hard time. How are we going to be able to listen to our intuition with all this going on? The trick is, we need to slow down. Training yourself to listen to your intuition is going to take some time. One of my favourite mantras is, everything worth doing takes time. If you allow some slow time on a regular basis to really listen to your intuition, you will make better decisions and be able to carve out your life with so much greater clarity. So I've got 2 techniques for you to try out. If you're already doing one, try another, or discover your own way to train yourself to listen to your intuition. Leave me a comment down below and I'd love to know your technique. Method number 1, find a quiet spot at home or out in nature where you can be undisturbed for 10 to 15 minutes. Just breathe naturally and listen. You will have many thoughts running around in your mind, and the key is to observe them, let them come and go, and then after about 5 minutes, or when the mind chatter has subsided, put your hands on your heart. Focus on your heart and the desires of the heart. Often when we focus on this part of the body, our sensitive and intuitive side comes to the fore. Listen to what your heart has to say to you. If you can't hear anything, ask, and don't give up. Sometimes it can take many tries until you start hearing some intuitive information. Remember, you know it's your intuition when what you hear is of benefit to you. Method number 2. Making art is a great way to get rid of the mind chatter and allow the intuitive thoughts to flow. I recommend you start by grabbing some paints and mixing colours. Just mixing colours together is immensely satisfying and allows you to focus on the slow movement of the paint instead of listening to your fast-paced thoughts. Once you start painting something simple like repeating curves or circles, your mind will calm down, your heart rate will be lowered, and you will allow your intuitive thoughts to come in. Go with them. Don't try and analyse what you're doing, just go with the flow. In time, you'll find a way that making art is so satisfying to you for the relief that it provides. Give yourself the gift of finding, listening, and then acting on your intuition. Your intuition will guide you to creating a future that you desire, and there's nothing more satisfying than living a life that you have intentionally created. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video for loads more inspiration.